So the idea that we came up with was that people would have the chance to wear eye masks so that they would be totally without their sight, and they would have the chance to take part in an everyday or a regular activity that they do. The idea was to kind of provoke conversation and thinking and debate actually about what it's like to have a disability.
Having to do this for 5 minutes is a tiny sliver into the lives of somebody who by default has to do this for everything.
I've got to say I'm kind of speechless after that. I mean, like my hands were shaking. I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. I'm happy I trust her, because otherwise I would have probably smashed into a lot of people.
Even the littlest thing suddenly becomes 10 times more difficult, kind of like getting on the tube, that kind of thing. It'd be a nightmare.
I think it's that sense of not knowing where you are, not knowing who's talking to you, not knowing who's around, not knowing where the food is. So it's just something as basic as that.
It's great as an individual to get the experience, because you start being able to see what it feels like for other people.
Really quite an experience, terrifying actually in some moments, especially when you lose the person who's guiding you. You feel very lost very quickly. So yeah, it was quite the experience. Very good to understand what people have to go through. It's important because actually there's a huge range of disabilities, hidden and overt, and the more that people understand and appreciate the perspectives of disabled people, the more that we can, the more inclusive culture we have, and we improve our culture overall.
It did make me wonder how open people tend to be if they have, if they're partially sighted, for instance. And it also made me wonder, and I'm not sure of the answer, but of how much we do to support them.
I think a lot of people need to be aware of this, and a lot of people start to appreciate and give a hand to help to someone that is feeling like that. Because at the end of the day, we just kind of pulled the blinder away and everything was fine. And even after 20 minutes, even less, I was already so grateful, let alone someone that's done this for the rest of their life. So, eye-opening.
I think actually for both sets of people taking part, so both the people who wore the eye masks and the buddies that helped them, it's been a really profound experience.
Because I think you can only get a true picture once you've experienced something yourself.
It's a very difficult challenge. Like, even speaking to people was hard. I didn't know when someone was talking to me. I didn't know where people were or who to address.
I think for a company that embraces diversity, it needs to be shown that we care about every single type of diversity and not just one type. So it's really good to show people that we care.
For me, working at EY allows me to be the real Kate. I don't have to come to work and wear a mask anymore. I can come and be true to myself and be completely open about who I am, what I struggle with, and they're there to support me all the way.
I think 10% of graduates who leave from university have disabilities, so if an organisation such as EY who targets graduates aren't inclusive, then they're potentially missing out on a very large talent pool.
So I think these initiatives are really important to us as a firm. And I'm particularly aware that it's easy for people to start thinking about labels and the word disability is bandied around. One of the things that we've been really keen to do is to focus on actually the abilities and the different perspectives that all of our people bring, and hence the name Ability EY. And I think one of the things that I'm keen that people get from events like this is that it's not just about those obvious physical conditions. Actually, it's about a whole range of other issues that people are dealing with.